So building a custom house here in Southwest Florida, what does that overall process look like? What's going on, everyone? My name is Noah Ward. I'm a broker associate here in Sarasota, Florida, and also a partner in a building company. And today we are going to be discussing the overall custom home building process because I've been getting this question quite a bit lately as a lot of people are looking to build custom houses because one, they don't want to go with your typical tract home builder like Neil Communities, Taylor Morrison, Lennar, D.R. Horton, M.I. Homes, and all these other tract home builders where they're within an HOA, they pay a high monthly fee, they have like 5 or 7 different floor plans to choose from, and then they really can't make any structural changes, right? They can make cosmetic changes such as, your paint color, what color countertops, and so forth, but you can't make wall changes, structural changes, or anything like that. So a lot of people are turning more towards that custom house building route, which is very beneficial for a lot of people in certain circumstances. So we are going to be breaking down the overall process of building a custom house because it does differ a little bit from your typical spec house or your inventory builders such as, Lennar, D.R. Horton, Neil Communities, Taylor Morrison, all these tract home builders that you see here in Sarasota. So when we are looking to build a custom house, the number one step is that we first have to determine a budget and the overall financing. Where are the funds going to come from? So what I mean by that is the first step is, one, you either have to get a construction loan, or two, you pay for the house all in cash. There's pretty much 2 options. Now there may be other ones, but these are the 2 major ones. And so here in Sarasota, there's 2 major banks that do most of the construction loans, because here's the thing a lot of people don't understand is that when you're looking to build a house, it's a lot different to get a construction loan versus getting your regular end loan. There's a lot more scrutiny that goes behind it to vet the person that's actually obtaining the loan, and interest rates may vary a little bit from your traditional end loan that you see, on the everyday internet or whatever that may be. So the biggest thing is determining what your budget will get you for a house, because when you approach a builder or a custom home builder, whatever it may be, the first thing they're going to ask is, well, what budget are we working within, right? And so you have to be able to give them hard numbers, because a lot of people approach me and say, hey, Noah, you and your building partner, we want to build a house. And I'm like, okay, great. What is your budget that we have to work within, right? Because that is going to determine, 1, what we can build, and 2, the location that we can build in. So that kind of goes into the second step of the new construction process, and that is identifying a piece of land. So what I mean by identifying a piece of land, I mean that we first have to identify the location. And, these tract home builders like Lennar, Taylor Morrison, D.R. Horton, Neil Communities, M.I. Homes, all these kind of tract home builders, they buy these large tracts of land. It's typically farmland, it's acreage, agriculture, and all that kind of stuff. And they develop this whole entire piece of property, hence it's a tract of land that they're developing, which is why they're called the tract home builder, right? So that's the biggest thing is they buy big tracts of land, but when you're building a custom house, you want to find one piece of property. Now that piece of property may be 0.17 acres, that other piece of property may be 20 acres. It really depends on where you're looking. Like for example, we can go down to South Venice where it's a voluntary HOA. You don't have to pay an HOA fee if you don't want to. And those lots cost anywhere from $75,000 all the way up to $120,000, and that is for an 8,000 square foot lot. It's about 80 by 100 feet deep, so you have some room. It's under a quarter acre in size. Or you go over more towards Mayaca City, maybe you go to northeast Lakewood Ranch area, just south of that a little bit, and then you can get estate size lots, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 acres, whatever that may be, for anywhere from $600,000 to over $1 million. So it all really depends on your budget. Here in Sarasota, I always tell people, well, budget at least $150,000 to $250,000 per acre. Now, these lots are usually quartered up, so you have a quarter acre, maybe even a half acre, but I go by the acre increments. In Northport gives you the best bang for your buck. In Northport, you will be able to get lots anywhere between $20,000 to $25,000 for a quarter acre, which is a great value in my opinion. Northport is a very up and coming area. If you guys want to know all about Northport, I pretty much focus on Northport. I have the #1 YouTube channel for Northport. So go and check out all these other videos about North Ward if that's something that you're interested in. But that is where a lot of the new construction is happening. One, there's no HOA. Two, there's a lot of opportunity for very affordable land to buy. And three, you can build for a relatively decent price there, which I absolutely love. So North Ward is kind of my favorite little place right now, besides South Venice, maybe Venice and so forth, right? Sarasota, not so much because there's so many HOAs. Land is very expensive. If you're not building a multi-million-dollar house, sometimes it just doesn't make sense. Exactly. That's the second step, is first identifying a piece of land. That way we know what we're working with, right? And then the third step, and so when I'm going to say this, the third and fourth step can be very interchangeable, right? When I say that. So the biggest thing for the third step is we need to conduct a survey on the lot. So once we find your budget, once you get the financing secured, we find you a piece of land, we go under contract, it's in your name now. Now we conduct a survey for that property. This is where we do all the necessary surveys for us, such as the topo survey, the boundary survey, the tree survey, elevation survey, all those kind of different surveys. That is what we do during the survey phase, right? And this will allow us to, one, tell us what the elevation of the lot is. Two, it'll tell us what size trees are there and, where they are, where they're located and everything, because Sarasota County wants that on the record and on the maps where all the trees located and so forth. Three, we'll also have to check for any scrub jays, gopher tortoises, or any environmental protected species, basically. So that is really what's going to help us with the survey. It determines where our setbacks are, where we can build, and it'll tell us, for example, there's some areas that have a 16-foot setback, for example, on the sides. So what that means is you can have 8 feet on each side of your house that you have to stay away from. So let's just say that, a setback is 20 feet total. You have to stay 10 feet away from each side, and you have an 80-foot wide lot. That means you only can build a 60-foot wide house. That is going to determine phase number 4, step number 4, which is designing your floor plan and getting the engineering all completed and done. So once we conduct the survey on the lot, then we really know what our building footprint is. Are we able to build a 60-foot wide house, or are we able to build a 50-foot wide house, maybe a 90-foot wide house? It really just depends on how much land that you want to buy. But if you're looking to buy more than, a quarter acre, it shouldn't be an issue, but a quarter acre is where you really want to be careful about what size are your setbacks and what's your overall building process, or what's your overall building width going to be for the front and also the back, of course, if you want to build a pool. But for step 4, really figuring out your floor plan, right? So now you have your survey done. You'll be able to determine if you want to build a 60-foot wide house, 50-foot wide house, 80-foot wide house, whatever that may be. That's where you go in with us, the builder, and we really help you, walk you through with the engineers. You tell us what you want in a house. You tell us, hey, I want this many bedrooms. I want it to flow this way. I want to be able to walk from the kitchen over to the dining room, then over to the guest room, whatever that may be. Then we give that to the engineers. The engineers put all that together and they create your very own custom floor plan. We come back, we sit down, we talk about it. We say, hey, do you want this wall moved? What do you want changed? Do you like this here? Maybe you want it moved over here. We go through that process. That process usually will take, if the floor plan is done correctly right off the bat, then that week can be done in 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever that may be. But if there are some change orders and stuff like that, it could go up to anywhere from 2 to 3 months in the planning phase, right? So that's the biggest thing is, figuring out your time frame that you have to work with the build, because the designing of the floor plan is probably the most crucial part of the building process, because at the end of the day, that is your final building product. So now that kind of brings us into the 5th step in the process, and that is going to be submitting for the permit. So by now, we already have the property in your name. Number 3, we already have the survey. We already have your floor plan done. We already have all the necessary things done. We just have to put some finishing touches on our end onto it, or the builder's end to it, so that they can then submit the permit to the county, to the city, wherever the jurisdiction is, and then we wait. This is the waiting process. This process, depending on the jurisdiction, whether it's City of Sarasota, the County of Sarasota, City of Venice, City of North Ward, whatever that may be, we have to go through the permitting process. And this permitting process can take anywhere from 4 to 10 weeks, just really depends on where you are in the stack of building permits that they're in, right? Some days they're working a little bit faster than others, they get bogged down, whatever that may be. So we allot 4 to 10 weeks for the building permits to get, accepted, approved, make change orders, whatever that may be. So that's the 5th step. And then the 6th step is we have received the approval, the go ahead to move forward. The city or the county comes out and says, hey, we approve your building permit. Here, you guys can go. Here's your permit. You guys can start building. So that is where step 6 comes in. We start clearing the land. Now, clearing the land, we clear all the trees, we add dirt, we grade it, we pack it down, and we basically get a solid foundation down to build the house on that you're looking for. And the biggest thing is that, depending on where the lot is, what the elevation is, what we need to build it up to, we may need to add 2 feet of dirt, we may need to add 6 feet of dirt. It really just depends on the overall location, but that all gets graded down. But that is during the land clearing phase and the land prep phase. And then we go into step 7 of the process, which is building the house. So this is where all the foundations get poured, all your walls go up, roof goes up, everything gets done in this process. Now, once we're at this process and the land clearing process, it takes about 6 to 8 months to build a house from there. So you can allot that much time for building a house here in Sarasota County or the surrounding area. So now that brings us to step 8. Once the house is fully built, then we go through the final permitting process or the final inspection process and get the CO, which is the certificate of occupancy. This is where the inspector comes in, checks everything off, says, all right, we've done all of your inspections throughout this whole entire building process, and we can confidently say that this house is safe to live in. It passes all of our codes. There's no violations. Here's your certificate of occupancy. Now, at that point, that is where a person could actually live in the house, because before they couldn't live in the house without the CO, but now that you have the CO, this is where step 9 comes in, and it's probably one of my favorite steps, and this is going to be handing over the keys to someone's brand new house. The look on someone's face when you hand them the keys to their brand new house is absolutely amazing, and being able to walk through with you guys, show you guys what this whole entire process entailed, and show you guys what the finished product is probably the best feeling some person could ever have. And it's probably the most proudest moment, of course, of the homeowners, because this is when they finally get to walk in to their forever house. So with all that being said, those are the 9 steps to actually building a custom house here in Sarasota County. And once again, I get all these questions all the time, probably on a weekly basis, if not on a daily basis, of people calling about building a house. So I wanted to make this video for you guys so you guys kind of understood what the overall building process entailed in terms of the custom home building process. And then I will also be releasing a video about custom home building versus tract home and inventory builders, right? Because there is a big difference between the two. So we'll be breaking those down in another video. So be sure to go and check that video out as well. But once again, guys, if you have any questions about building a new custom house here in Sarasota County or the surrounding area, and you guys just have questions, you guys just want to talk, let me know, reach out to me. My contact information is right down here or also down in the description down below. And then if you guys did want to move forward, we would obviously get connected with my building partner, the GC, and we would start with building your custom dream home. But once again, my name is Noah Ward here in Sarasota, and we will catch you guys all on the next video.